apartment 302, for almost a year. And in that entire time, he had never met his neighbor across the hall. He only knew one thing: she was loud. Every morning at 7 a.m., a thud would echo through the wall, followed by faint music and the sound of hurried footsteps. Sometimes there'd be humming, sometimes laughter, and once what he swore was a karaoke session to a song about coffee. He'd grumble, plug in his earphones, and mutter, "Some of us work from home, you know." But one morning, the thud wasn't just through the wall, it was at his door. He opened it to find a girl crouched on the floor, holding a tipped-over box of groceries. "Oh no," she mumbled, staring at a runaway apple rolling toward his feet. Evan bent down, picked it up, and handed it back. "You live across the hall?" She looked up, bright eyes, skirt and top slightly wrinkled, hair in a messy ponytail, the kind that made it seem like she had run a marathon just to get there. "Yeah," she said breathlessly. "I'm Leela. Sorry about the noise. I'm usually not this—" A loud thunk interrupted her sentence. Another box tipped over behind her door. "Clumsy," she finished, smiling sheepishly. Evan couldn't help but laugh. That explains the daily earthquakes. She rolled her eyes, but grinned. "You should be grateful. Free morning entertainment." And that's how it started, with a noise complaint that turned into a conversation. From that day on, their mornings changed. Leela would leave her apartment every day around the same time Evan stepped out for coffee. They'd meet in the hallway, sometimes by accident, sometimes not. She'd talk about her day before it began, her art classes, her crazy neighbor on the other side, apparently worse than him, her dreams of holding her own gallery show. Evan listened, half awake, always amused. She was chaos in motion. Sketchbook under one arm, keys dangling dangerously close to falling, talking faster than he could respond. And yet there was something comforting about her energy, like sunshine slipping through a dusty window. One day, she noticed his tie crooked and, without hesitation, stepped close to fix it. "There," she said, "you're officially presentable." Evan blinked, startled by how close she was, by the scent of her coffee, by the warmth of her hands. "Thanks," he muttered, trying not to sound flustered. She laughed softly. "You'd survive without me, but not stylishly." That became a habit, too. Her fixing his tie, him holding her elevator door, both pretending it was all casual. One evening, it rained hard, the kind of downpour that soaked everything in seconds. Evan, returning from a late grocery run, spotted a familiar figure at the bus stop outside our building, clutching a paper bag over her head. "Leela," he called out. She turned, dripping wet but smiling. "Oh, hey. Bus is late, as usual." "Come on," he said, holding his umbrella out. "You'll catch a cold." She hesitated, then stepped under it. The umbrella was small, so they were close. Too close. Her hair brushed against his shoulder. "You're the first person who didn't run away from my umbrella curse," she giggled. "Umbrella curse? Every time I share one, it breaks." He glanced up nervously. "Well, let's hope today's the exception." It wasn't. The handle snapped halfway across the street. They both burst out laughing as rain poured down on them, sprinting the rest of the way to the apartment entrance. Inside, dripping and breathless, she looked at him and said, "Guess we were doomed." He said, brushing water from his sleeve, "Next time, I'm buying a bigger umbrella." She smiled, a quiet one this time. "Next time, huh?" A week later, Evan couldn't sleep. The hallway light was on, faint, flickering. And there, sitting by her door, was Leela, sketchbook open on her knees. "Midnight artist hour?" he asked softly. She looked up, surprised but not unhappy. Couldn't sleep either. He shook his head and sat down beside her. For a while, they said nothing, just the scratching of her pencil on paper and the soft hum of the city beyond the windows. "What are you drawing?" he asked finally. She tilted the sketchbook toward him. It was a half-finished portrait of him. "You make a good expression when you're annoyed at the world," she said teasingly. He blinked. "You've been sketching me?" "Maybe. You're good practice." He smiled faintly. "And do I get to keep that masterpiece?" "Only when it's done. Maybe never." They sat there until dawn, the hallway bathed in silver light. Neither mentioned sleep again. Days turned into weeks. The hallway laughter became routine, so natural that the absence of it one morning made him pause. No sound, no door opening, no humming through the wall. Leela was gone. For 3 days, her door stayed locked, her mail piling up. Evan told himself she was fine, probably traveling. But the quiet pressed on him harder each night. Then one evening, a sound. Faint knocking. He opened his door. She was there, standing with her wrist in a bandage. "I tripped on the stairs," she said with a shy laugh. "See? I told you I'm clumsy." I exhaled, the tension breaking. "You scared me." She smiled weakly. "You worry too much." "Someone has to," he said softly. For the first time, she didn't joke back. She just looked at him, eyes reflecting something quieter, something real. Leela invited him to her small art showcase. Nothing fancy, just a local studio exhibition. Evan showed up in his best suit. She, in her skirt and top, looked radiant under the white lights. He walked through rows of her sketches, people, streets, windows, rain. And there, near the end, one drawing made him stop. It was of the hallway, 2 doors facing each other. Between them, the faint outline of 2 figures, him and her, drawn in gentle strokes. Leela joined him quietly. "That one's called Across the Hall." He smiled. "It's perfect." "Maybe a bit too obvious," she laughed, "but it's my favorite." He glanced at her. "Mine too." Weeks later, as summer began to fade, Evan found himself outside her door again. Tie perfectly straight, heart not so much. He knocked once, twice. She opened, hair messy from painting, a smudge of charcoal on her cheek. "Hey, Mr. Formal, what's the occasion?" He took a breath. "I once said you survive without me, but not stylishly." She tilted her head. "Yeah?" "Well," he said, smiling nervously, "I don't think I want to survive without you at all." Her eyes widened. Then, slowly, she smiled, the kind that reached all the way to her eyes. "Wow," she whispered, "that was actually pretty stylish." Later that night, they walked outside under the soft glow of streetlights. She swung her bag playfully, teasing him for blushing. "Can I tell you a secret?" she said suddenly. "Go ahead." "The first day you complained about the noise, I'd already noticed you. I just didn't know how to start talking." He laughed. "So you decided to drop groceries at my door." "Hey," she said, mock defensive. "It worked, didn't it?" He smiled, glancing at her. "It did." They stopped at the corner, city quiet around them. For a moment, she reached out, brushed his sleeve, then his hand. "Next time," she whispered, "don't wait for me to knock." The next morning, for the first time, Evan's alarm didn't wake him. Laughter did. He opened his door. She was there, holding 2 cups of coffee. Peace offering for all the morning earthquakes. He took one, smiling. Truce accepted. As they stood there, hallway bathed in sunlight, something simple and unspoken lingered. Not a grand confession, not a cinematic kiss, just a quiet certainty that this, the hallway, the laughter, the shared mornings, was home. Months later, Leela finished the sketch she had started that first night. She knocked on his door, holding it up proudly. It showed two people, a girl in a skirt and top, a boy in a suit, sitting side by side in a hallway full of light. At the bottom, one line written softly: "Love doesn't always start with fireworks. Sometimes it starts with a noise complaint." Evan looked at it for a long moment and then smiled. "Frame it," he said. "We'll hang it between our doors." She nodded. "Deal." And as she walked away, humming softly, he realized he'd never hear silence the same way again.